from American Public Media.
And we are live from here at Town Hall in New York City! And here is your host, Chris Thile!
Ahoy! Let's hear it from our musical director, Mike Elizondo. Our house band tonight includes Jeremy Kittle on the fiddle, Armand Hirsch on guitar, Abe Rounds on the drums, and Brett Williams on keys. Oh, do we ever have a show for you tonight? Our guests are Bedouine, Tom Papa, Sarah Jarosz, Gia Tolentino, and Andrew Bird. Live from here is supported by Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Discovering the PDL1 pathway gave the world a revolutionary new way of treating cancer. Another breakthrough from Dana-Farber. danafarber.org/everywhere. And by the United States Postal Service, offering postage stamps for purchase at more than 40,000 supermarkets, drugstores, office suppliers, and wholesale clubs. And by ReputationDefender.com. Their reputation report card scans and grades a person's online presence in real time. More at ReputationDefender.com. Live from here is produced by American Public Media. And again, I say, ahoy! Ahoy! Our first live show of the new decade. We've been off for the last month. Nice to be back. Nice to be back on the horse with you. Anytime we take more than 2 weeks off, doubt creeps back in. The clock ticks down, the red light comes on, and I'm like, how does our theme song go again? Ah! Oh, no, what's that word I shout? Aloha! And the show's ruined. Doubt can be crippling, but it's also a creativity catalyst. For instance, my version of the traditional song, Moonshiner. I've been a moonshiner for 17 long years. I've spent all my money on whiskey and beer. Comes from me misremembering the Peter Rowan version of it that I grew up with, which upon further review sounds like this. I've been a moonshiner for many long years, and I've spent all my money on whiskey and beer. And so we find that art plus doubt equals new art. Which means, dear listener, that you are an artist. Consider as proof the miracle of misheard lyrics. You know, like, excuse me while I kiss this guy. And hold me close to Tony Danza. I collected what follows from my Twitter followers last night. First up, someone called @Pinworks. Here's exactly what I heard when I first checked Rubber Soul out from the library when I was 10, which is... Michelle, my belle, Sunday monkey won't play piano song, play piano song. So obstinate, those Sunday monkeys. Next up, from one at Ashwee's Cosplay. If you ever get annoyed, look at me, I'm self-employed. I love to work at nothing all day. And I'll be baking carrot biscuits every day. Baking carrot biscuits everywhere. Okay, now, baking carrot biscuits. That one feels willfully misheard to me, but who doesn't love a fresh baked carrot biscuit? Lastly, and possibly mostly, at Carrie Leary has always heard the following thusly. She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Cheez-Its, and America too. Cheez-Its and America. The at Carrie Leary story. But what about the lyrics we don't mishear and yet do not understand? For instance, I wrote a song with my fellow Punch brothers called Don't Get Married Without Me that goes like this. You're right, we're wrong for now. Just bailing water while the ship goes down. Now, someone came up to me once at a festival and said,
Hey, is that song about the Titanic? Because my brother thinks it is. And I need you to tell me it's not. So I can tell him he's wrong.
Now, I confess that as the lyricist of that song, I've never thought of it as being about the Titanic, but rather about a similarly doomed relationship of mine. However, as I was about to express that to this person, I realized that nothing in the lyric of Don't Get Married Without Me specifically precludes it from being at least set on board the Titanic. And who am I to aid in the killing of someone else's vibe? Human beings are to lyrics as yeast is to wine, okay? Agents of fermentation. If the song is yellow and you're blue, the song's gonna look green. If your brother is red, it's gonna look orange.
So it is about the Titanic?
It's about perspective?
Whatever, I knew he was wrong.
There's always room for doubt between what we say and what someone hears. A good thing to ponder as we hurtle towards Valentine's Day. Which brings us to our brand spanking new song of the week, Circular Mistake. And if it sounds to you like it might have been inspired by a conversation between two lovers, that's totally cool with me. But it's really about the Titanic. Tell me, beloved, why is there a tear in your eye? Tell me, beloved, why is there a tear in your eye?
It's a trick of the winter night. Love, everything is fine.
Then tell me, beloved, why are you now clenching your teeth?
I didn't dress for the winter air. Should have worn another layer. Whereas you've got your coat and wool underneath.
Then tell me, beloved, why won't you let me give you my coat?
'Cause it's good to be cold in the wintertime. Love, everything is fine. It's because you make me tell you. I don't wanna have to tell you that I have nothing to tell you. 'Cause I've said it all, said it all, said it all before, and you can make it all okay. Make me say it all again. Darling, we'll be further from the end and closer to the forming of another circular mistake. Heart off his sleeve.
Oh, tell me, beloved, if I could, where would we be now?
Some sweet place where it's understood a girl doesn't have to.
Look, I thought you wanted me to ask you. I didn't know what I should ask you.
I have to tell you
that I have nothing to tell you.
Said it all before, and you can't make it all okay. Make me say it all again. Darling, we'll be further from the end. Said it all before, and we can't make it all okay. Make me say it all again. Darling, we'll be further from the end and closer to the forming of another circular mistake.
Tell me, beloved, why is there a tear in your eye? How about this band, huh? Citizens of the airwaves, please make welcome Bedouine.
After all, isn't it the time that we make, and all the innocence we give and we take? I've tried so hard to be there for you. It seems it may mean disappearing for you. I don't wanna run, I don't wanna try to fight it. Every time I try, I find new ways to deny it. I will try my best to keep my head nice and quiet for you. I don't wanna hide, I don't wanna make it right. Anything you're losing, should you really try and find it? When I'm on my way, I'll keep my feet nice and quiet for you. After all, isn't it the fear that we face, and all the bitterness we try and erase? All of the reasons to keep me at bay are the same reasons that I should stay. I don't wanna run, I don't wanna try to fight it. Every time I try, I find new ways to deny it. I will try my best to keep my head nice and quiet for you. I don't wanna hide, I don't wanna make it right. Anything you're losing, should you really try and find it? When I'm on my way, I'll keep my feet nice and quiet for you. Every time I try, I find new ways to deny it. I will try my best to keep my head nice and quiet for you. You, I don't wanna hide, I don't wanna make it right. Anything you listen, should you really try and find it? When I'm on my way, I'll keep my feet nice and quiet for you. You, oh.
Okay, so Bedouine, first off, what an extraordinary thing to hear that song in this hall.
Oh, thank you
This
so much.
This is the first time I've gotten to actually hear you do your thing in person. The first time I heard you, it was one of those moments late at night that's when I like to listen to music. I always like to listen to music, but that's a time that I particularly like to listen to music, generally with a cocktail. Okay. And so I've got my earphones on and I'm listening to something else for this show. And then you know that generally annoying thing that your streaming service does? You listen to the song that you want to hear and then it just starts playing another song. You didn't ask it to, it just does. And it played me your song.
I'm
and
sorry.
I freaked out. I just sat there. I had all this work to do and I couldn't do anything until I figured out who you were. I was texting people, can we have her on the show? You're here, thank you for being here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
And one thing that impressed itself on me on that listen, and then again just now, even more so, is how centered that song is and how centered the two of you are together delivering that song. And then I read your biography, and you had anything but like a geographically centered upbringing. You're from Syria, you live in LA, you've been living in Saudi Arabia and Houston in between there. I'm curious what kind of impact a childhood like that has had on your art.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think when people ask me if there's a theme to the record, I think it's not intended to be conceptual by any means, but if I had to retrospectively pick one, I think a sense of detachment grows when you have to be adaptable. So I think that maybe lyrically that would be the one thing that is kind of a through line. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Unintended, yeah.
Gotcha, so seeking something grounding after all of that.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Well, give us some more, because I think we could all use it.
Okay, sure. I don't need to stay out hanging with a gang at all hours. If I had your love, that'd be enough. Wildflower. Don't always feel like throwing back. I'd like a quiet night with you inside without catching flack. It's alright if we put out a light. It's not sunshine sometimes. You're still on my mind. If it changes, you'll know where to find me. Lazy baby, but I still like to see you tonight. Wonder where you've been. I've been staying in, but it's hard. Don't have much to say. I just trade the day for the dark. Don't always feel like throwing back. I'd like a quiet night with you inside without catching flack. It's alright if we put out a light. It's not sunshine sometimes. You're still on my mind. If you changes, you know where to find me. Lazy baby, but I still like to see you tonight. Even if we're just at home, it's nice to get you alone. And if we're entertaining, sure it may be tame, it's not the same. It's alright if we put out a light. It's not sunshine sometimes. You're still on my mind. If you changes, you know where to find me. Lazy baby, but I still like to see you tonight.
Bedouine.
Thank you so much.
Thank God, more from her later in the show. Time now to welcome our traveling correspondent, comedian Tom Papa, in a segment we call Out in America.
Thanks, Chris. On behalf of Live From Here, I continue my journey across the country, shining a light on all the good people in America. This week, I return to one of my favorite American cities, Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland in February is not for the weak or chicken-hearted. Through frozen temperatures, the wind whips off Lake Erie, down the avenues, and straight up your pant leg. They call it the Cleveland Hello. The closest they get to a sunny day is when the sky turns only kind of gray. The people of Cleveland understand this is no time for vanity. This is a place where the priority is staying warm. Not only do they wear big, heavy coats, but they insulate the inside of their bodies by eating as much food as they can find. They're like bears in football jerseys. This is why I'm here. Cleveland likes to eat. I like to eat. I like Cleveland. I started off at Slyman's, which is a restaurant that specializes in corned beef. It opened in 1964 when the nation was on an all-fat and cigarette diet. They were an immediate hit, serving corned beef sandwiches, corned beef hash, and corned beef everything. Today, as the nation has become more health conscious, they continue to thrive by not changing a damn thing. The menu's the same, the waitresses are the same, and only recently did they remove the ashtrays that were attached to the walls next to the urinals. Have you ever looked at a menu in a corned beef restaurant and your jeans started to unbutton themselves? I have. I sat next to a group of police officers who look like they eat here every day. There were 4 of them filling up a table for 6. Their uniforms were so stretched and tight that they looked like inflated balloons. When Debbie the waitress gave me a glass of orange juice, they all laughed as Officer Dan asked, "What are you trying to prove?" It's February. Time to take your New Year's resolution, dip it in blue cheese, and wash it down with a milkshake. Thankfully, my giant plate of corned beef and eggs came out, and they accepted me as one of their own, even giving me a nickname. Welcome to the club, Juicy Juice. From the good time they were having, I had to assume that crime in Cleveland isn't much of a problem anymore. Officer Dan said, "Who knows? It's too damn cold for us to come out of the car and find out." Another officer named Carl chimed in, "I haven't gotten out of the car since '98 on account of my gout." The corned beef was sliced super thin and the rye toast was perfect. If this is what caused Carl's gout, it was well worth it. Debbie came over and gave them all separate checks. "Here you go, big spenders. Try not to tip in coins." I asked her to recommend another place to eat, and Officer Dan asked if I ever had real Polish pierogies that are lightly fried, cheesy potato dumplings. I said I had. He said he didn't believe me. He said, "I bet you never had real ones from a real Cleveland Polish tavern." I said, "Well, they're probably not much different than the ones I had in LA. Have you ever been dragged out of a corned beef restaurant, shoved in the back of a police car, and driven to a pierogi joint? I have. We headed over to the Tremont section, and after a couple of plates of baseball-sized pierogies, several large beers, and a kielbasa on the side, I was ready for lunch. My friends Sam and Dave, who were both Cleveland natives, picked me up. They wanted to celebrate Dave's birthday at his favorite Chinese restaurant for dim sum. I was a little concerned about the coronavirus, but Dave said, "Dude, this dim sum is so badass, they use the coronavirus as a condiment." We walked into an authentic restaurant in Asiatown. Everyone stopped and looked at us as if they were surprised we found out the password to their secret hideout. After an awkward moment, we were welcomed, rushed to a table, and they started serving us food off the cart at a furious pace. Have you ever tried so hard to fit in a Chinese restaurant that you accepted everything they gave you and ended up with a mouthful of chicken feet? I have. How do different cultures decide what to eat anyway? They serve chicken feet. My grandfather ate pig's feet. The French eat frog's legs. It's weird that it's weird when you can't talk on the radio. We don't have time. It's weird that what may seem like a pet to you might be an appetizer to someone else. But no matter where you come from or how you were raised, the one thing we have in common is that every year we all eat a handful of spiders in our sleep. A waiter came up and started yelling at Dave in Chinese. No one at our table understood what he was saying. A young boy at the table next to us translated. Apparently, we had parked too close to the door and we were going to be towed. Dave apologized, grabbed his coat, and ran outside. Once he was gone, the waiter laughed and said in perfect English, "When he comes back, we'll sing happy birthday." Have you ever been yelled at in Chinese by a scary man and realized this is just his way of telling a joke? I have. When Dave came back, the entire restaurant sang a broken English version of Happy Birthday. Everyone applauded. Dave was so happy he started to cry and ordered another round of chicken feet. We rolled out of there, and suddenly, Cleveland wasn't so cold anymore. I was fat, I was happy, and Cleveland had once again wrapped me up in its soul and warmed me up. I drifted back into my hotel and stopped at the fireplace in the lobby. It was getting late, and my head was spinning. Someone was calling my name from the bar. It looked like my old friend Albert. The last thing I wanted to do was drink or eat anything, but Albert rubbed his belly, adjusted his glasses, and said, "Come on, just one more. You never want to look back and regret that you didn't spend time with your friend when you had the chance." So I walked in, we raised a glass, had one more drink, and a bunch more laughs. The snow was falling harder, I was fading. The soft sound of a radio started to play from behind the bar. Albert stood up, struck a pose like Elvis, pointed toward the speaker, and said, "They're on the air." As he turned and smiled, he said to me, "Now you get to bed." Have you ever thought you were in a hotel bar, but when you suddenly woke up, you realized you had passed out on a city bench in Cleveland with a chicken foot in your hand? I have. Thank you, Cleveland, and thank all of you. And until next time, this has been Tom Papa out in America.
Thank you so much for that, Tom. Look for Tom's new Netflix stand-up special, You're Doing Great, streaming now All this talk about Cleveland is giving me a hankering for our local break, and you know who belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Our friends listening on WKSU and WCPN. Hope you enjoy Live from Here's inaugural Frank Zappa piece. This is entitled, Let's Move to Cleveland. Listening to Live from Here. Welcome back to Live from Here. Little Frank Zappa for you. How about the fact that Sarah Jarosz is on our show today? Tonight, this evening, fresh off a Grammy win with her bandmates in I'm With Her. Congratulations, Sarah. With what song shall we celebrate?
Well, first I want to just give a shout out to Mike Elizondo on that Grammy win because he produced that song that we won for. So
that's why we call him the Secret Wizard.
He is. We're gonna do one that I was asked by the great John Zorn to be a part of a compilation album that came out a couple years ago, a compilation of the songs of Connie Converse. Not many people know about Connie, but she's special for sure. And so it's not on Spotify or any of those things, but you can find it on the internet, this album. We're gonna do a tune of hers called Fortune's Child.
This letter comes from Fortune's child. You see no other name is signed. You may recall my heart was wild, and to your love I paid no mind. We never could go hand in hand, so to your love I only smiled, and you could never understand that I was Fortune's only child. You used to ask me what I wanted. I said the world in time and space. My heart was wild, my head was haunted with every new and smiling face. I said I'd wait till Fortune smiled. I said I'd never change my mind. This letter comes from Fortune's child, but when was Fortune ever kind?
Sarah Jarosz. Next up, with an essay adapted from her collection Trick Mirror, is New Yorker staff writer Gia Tolentino.
In the beginning, the internet seemed good. I was in love with the internet the first time I used it at my dad's office and thought it was the ultimate cool. I wrote when I was 10 years old on an Angel Fire page titled The Story of How Gia Got Her Web Addiction. In 1999, it felt different to spend all day on the internet. This was true for everyone, not just for 10-year-olds. This was the You've Got Mail era, when it seemed like the very worst thing that might happen online was that you could fall in love with your business rival. Throughout the 80s and 90s, people had been gathering on the internet in open forums, drawn like butterflies to the puddles and blossoms of other people's curiosity and expertise. Self-regulated news groups cultivated lively and relatively civil discussion about space exploration, meteorology, recipes, rare albums. Users gave advice, answered questions, made friendships, and wondered what this new internet would become. Through the emergence of blogging, personal lives were becoming public domain, and social incentives to be liked, to be seen, were becoming economic ones. But then the call of self-expression turned the village of the internet into a city, which expanded at time-lapse speed, social connections bristling like neurons in every direction. At 10, I was clicking around a web ring to check out other Angel Fire sites full of animal gifs and Smash Mouth trivia. At 12, I was writing 500 words a day on a public live journal. At 15, I was uploading photos of myself in a miniskirt on MySpace. By 25, my job was to write things that would attract, ideally, 100,000 strangers per post. Now I'm 31, and most of my life is inextricable from the internet and its mazes of incessant forced connection, this feverish, electric, unlivable hell. As with the transition between Web 1.0 and Web 2.0, the curdling of the social internet happened slowly, and then all at once. The tipping point, I'd guess, was around 2012. The dream of a better, truer self on the internet was slipping away. Where we'd once been free to be ourselves online, we were now chained to ourselves online. And this made us self-conscious. Platforms that promised connection began inducing mass alienation. The freedom promised by the internet began to seem like something whose greatest potential lay in the realm of misuse. But even as we become increasingly sad and ugly on the internet, the mirage of the better online self continues to glimmer. As a medium, the internet is defined by a built-in performance incentive. In real life, you can walk around living life and be visible to other people. But you can't just walk around and be visible on the internet. For anyone to see you, you have to do something. You have to act. In physical spaces, there's a limited audience and a time span for every performance. Online, your audience can hypothetically keep expanding forever, and the performance never has to end. Trying to make a living as a writer with the internet as a standing precondition of my livelihood has given me some professional motivation to stay active on social media, making my work and personality and face and political leanings and dog photos into a continually updated record that anyone can see. In doing this, I've sometimes felt the same sort of unease that used to wash over me when I was a cheerleader in high school and learned how to convincingly fake happiness at football games. This sort of feeling of acting as conditions are fun and normal and worthwhile in the hopes that they will just magically become so. But lately, I've been wondering how everything got so intimately terrible and why exactly so many of us keep playing along. The idea was that social media would give us a fine-tuned sort of control over what we looked at. What resulted was a situation where we, first as individuals and then inevitably as a collective, are essentially unable to exercise control at all. Facebook's stated goal of showing people only what they were interested in seeing resulted within a decade in the effective end of shared civic reality. But the internet is so young that it's easy to retain some subconscious hope that it still might all add up to something. We remember that at one point, this all felt like butterflies and puddles and blossoms. And we sit patiently in our festering inferno, waiting for the internet to turn around and surprise us and get good again. The alternative is unspeakable, but you know that. It's already here.
Thank you, Jaya. Food for thought. She'll be back a little later. How lucky are we making an unprecedented fourth visit to Live From Here as a guest? Please welcome one of my heroes, Andrew Bird.
Overprescribed and under the mister, we had survived to turn on the History Channel and ask our esteemed panel, hey, why are we alive? And here's how they replied. Yo, what happens when two substances collide? And by all accounts, you really should have died. You can't stand to look back. 16 tons of hazmat as it goes on delivered, on delivered. Boom, 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 boom. It's a nervous tick motion with the head to the left. It's a nervous tick motion of the what? Of the head to the left. So exercise yourself nervous tick motion of the one of the head to the left. Splayed out on a bath mat, 6 miles south of North Platte. He just wants his love back. What's in that paper knapsack? So goes on deliver, on deliver. Bum, 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 bum. And it's a nervous tick motion of the head to the left, a nervous tick motion of the over imbibed and under the mist. Barely alive, we cover our blisters and flannel. All the words we speak are banal. Now one of them's a lie. Now one of them's a I've been sweating two substances collide, and by all accounts, you really should have died.
Andrew, that's the first song I ever heard of yours. I think on KCRW in LA. I think.
All right.
I think. 15 years ago since that record came out, though.
15 years. That's kind of why I'm taking a look back at these old songs and kind of brushing them off.
How does it feel?
You know, it's wild. You know, I
Like written by a different person, kind of wild? Or in what way?
I think I've figured out a lot of things since then. I mean, it took me three tries to make that record. I threw 2 mixed records in the garbage. So I was definitely searching for something with Mysterious Production of Eggs that I kind of got. And then with this album. So, but then since then, you know, all those songs just on the record, they sound so content, whereas on stage, I'm restless and I like to, you know.
When we talked about doing this, Andrew sent me both the record version of the song and then also a voice memo of you playing it much faster than the record.
Yeah, I mean, adrenaline kicks in and all, but you know, when you're in the studio, kind of constructing a song one layer at a time, and you get, I don't know, it's just a different thing. So it's kind of nice to go back and visit all the little details that I did on the record with such a great band as you have here. So.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Another one from that record now, yeah?
Yeah. This is called Measuring Cups. Bum, 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 bum. bum, bum. Get out your measuring cups and we'll play a new game. Come to the front of the class and we'll measure your brain. We'll give you a complex and we'll give it a name. Get out your measuring sticks and we'll play a new game. Can't have the cream when the crop and the cream are the same. Liquid or gas, no more than the glass will contain. You talk about the hand of glory, a tale that's rather grim and gory. Is it just another children's story that's been declawed? When the tales of brothers grim and gory have been outlawed, have been outlawed. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I think they're gonna make you start over. You don't wanna start over. Put your backpack on your shoulder. Be the good little soldier. Take your places now, 'cause we're all predisposed. Oh, measuring cups, play a new game. Front of the class and we'll measure your brain. We'll give you a complex and we'll give it a name. We'll give it a name. Put your backpack on your shoulder. Be the good little soldier. It's no different when you're older, you're predisposed. That's all for Christians now. The case is closed.
Andrew Bird, everyone, fret not. He shall return with more in the second half, which is fast approaching. We'll close our first hour here with a song that I wrote with my fellow Punch Brothers called Me and Us. Me and Us. A good doubt song for your impending Valentine's Day. We go to bed and you fall asleep, not me. We go to bed and I lie awake and float out the window and down the street, over the bridge and into the village for a little break from the meaning of. I float away and you disappear. Some pretty young villager takes my hand and leads me to more pretty young villagers forming a ring round a bonfire built on a line in the sand between me and us. Am I lost? Have I lost? Have they thrown me on the fire? In the flames far unknown from you is far enough from one another. We fed into the flames, but they're just getting colder and colder. The boys at least half again as selfish, and the girls feeling a day older. But there's no help for them now. 'Cause together looks good when you're alone, looks good when you're together. And it takes a village older and less inclined to say which is better to say, which would be better.
Stay tuned for more from our special guests, Bedouine, Sarah Jarosz, Tom Papa, Gia Tolentino, and Andrew Bird. You're listening to Live from here at Town Hall in New York City.
Live from Here is supported by T. Rowe Price, offering a strategic investing approach that examines investment opportunities firsthand. Institutions, advisors, employers, and individuals choose T. Rowe Price. T. Rowe Price, invest with confidence. And by Staples, with printers, printer ink and toner cartridges for home and business, and in-store print shops for customized presentations, booklets, and manuals. More at Staples stores or staples.com. Staples. And by Baird. More than investment professionals, for 100 years, Baird has partnered with individuals, businesses, institutions, and communities, working together toward their financial goals. More information is available at baird100.com. And by Noom, a personalized program based in psychology to help people understand their motivations, change their habits, and lead healthier lives. Learn more at Noom, Noom.com. And by ReputationDefender.com, introducing their Reputation Report Card, which scans and grades a person's online presence in real time, showing people how they look online and what to do about it. More at ReputationDefender.com. Visit livefromhere.org to watch the live stream of tonight's show, check out our new merch, and get tickets for upcoming shows in New York, Washington, D.C., Norfolk, Virginia, Charleston, South Carolina, Colorado, and Kentucky. We have guests coming up like Nathaniel Rateliff, the Indigo Girls, Ken Burns, Real Estate, Lewis Black, and many more. Plus, watch your favorite video clips from past episodes, livefromhere.org. I'm telling you, this whole internet thing's really gonna take off. Live from Here is produced by American Public Media.
You're listening to Live from Here at Town Hall in New York City.
Welcome back. Thank you to Mike Elizondo for that tune, our version of Thelonious Monk's version of Duke Ellington's Caravan. Well, it is going to be a hell of a week for musicians' birthdays, starting with Sheryl Crow. Sheryl Crow. It's about time. 5 years, almost to the day, since I first guest hosted this show, and nary a Sheryl Crow song until now. Perhaps due to choice anxiety. There's an interesting form of doubt for you. I mean, there's, are you strong enough to be my man? Or if it makes you happy, or you're my favorite Miss Steve McQueen. All I wanna do is soak up the sun. I wanna tell everyone to relax. We finally picked one. This one. Sarah Jarosz there wishing Sheryl Crow a happy birthday with a slide-wielding Armand Hirsch on the assist. Ooh, Alban Berg. Alban? I forgot to check. One of the greatest composers of the 20th century, the 12-tonalist with a heart. He studied with the father of that compositional technique, Arnold Schoenberg, but found a way to make it his own and arguably more ours. Here's the first minute and a half of his extraordinary violin concerto. Some love for Jeremy Kittle on the fiddle, breaking our hearts with the work of birthday boy Alban Berg. Mad props to our own Dominic Mecchi for that transcription, which brings us to a veritable child of destiny, one of Destiny's children. Say her name, Kelly Rowland. That's her name, Sorry about that. Often lost in the glare of one of her bandmates. Kelly is an outsized talent in her own right with a thriving solo career that has generated plenty of material we could show you right now were it not for our keen collective desire to play this Kelly Rowland co-write.
First we started out real cool, taking me places I ain't never been. But now you're getting comfortable and doing the things you didn't know more. You're slowly making me pay for things your money should be handling. And now you ask to use my car. Drive it all day and don't fill up the tank. And you have the audacity to even come and step to me, ask to hold some money from me until you get your check next week. You trifling, good for nothing type of brother, silly me, what happened? I found another, a baller. When times get hard, I need someone to help me out instead of a scrub like you who don't know what a man's about. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? Can you pay my automobiles? If you did, then maybe we could chill. I don't think you do, so you and me are through. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? Do you pay my automobiles? If you did, then maybe we could chill. I don't think you do, so you and me are through. Now you've been maxing out my car. Gave me bad credit, buying me gifts with my own ends. Haven't paid the first bill, but instead you're heading to the mall, going on shopping sprees, perpetrating, telling your friends that you be falling. And then you use my cell phone, calling whoever that you think's at home. When the bill comes, all of a sudden you be acting dumb. Don't know where none of these calls come from. When your mama's done was here more than once. You trifling, good for nothing type of brother. Silly me, what happened? I found another, a baller. When times get hard, I need someone to help me out. Instead of a scrub like you who don't know what a man's about. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? Do you pay my automobiles? If you did, then maybe we could chill. I don't think you do, so you and me are through. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? Do you pay my automobiles? If you did, then maybe we could chill. I don't think you do, so you and me are through.
Oh! Sarah Jarosz singing Bills, 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 happy birthday, Kelly Rowland. And we'll polish off this birthday segment with a true master of songcraft, Stephen Merritt. Stephen Merritt, frontman of Magnetic Fields, writer of this next song, which I only heard for the first time at a dinner party a couple weeks ago, if you can believe it. I love a dinner party that turns into a listening session. And my friend Anne stopped a room full of jaded musicians dead in their tracks with this one, well-penned Merritt. And happy Valentine's Week, everyone. The book of love is long and boring. No one can live the damn thing. It's full of charts and facts and figures and instructions for dancing. But I love it when you read to me and you can read me anything. The book of love has music in it. In fact, that's where music comes from. Some of it is just transcendental. Some of it is just really dumb. But I love it when you sing to me and you can sing me love is long and boring and written very long. It's full of flowers and heart-shaped boxes and things we're all too young to know. But I love it when you give me things and you ought to give me wedding rings. And I love it when Happy birthday, Stephen Merritt, who wrote that song. How about this extraordinary band? Sarah Jarosz, Armand Hirsch on guitar, Brett Williams on keys, Jeremy Kittle on the fiddle, Abe Rounds on the drums, and the secret wizard himself, Mike Elizondo on the bass. Welcome back, Gia Tolentino.
Until recently, one of the best kept secrets in my life, even to myself, was that I once spent 3 weeks when I was 16 filming a reality TV show in Puerto Rico. The show was called Girls vs. Boys Puerto Rico, and the concept was exactly what it sounds like. There were 8 cast members total, 4 boys, 4 girls. We filmed on Vieques, a 4-mile-wide island, rough and green and hilly, with wild horses running along the white edges of the beach. The show was built around periodic challenges. Each team would rack up points towards a $50,000 jackpot. Without the prospect of that reward, I doubt I'd have ever seen reality TV from the inside, or that I've gotten to experience one of the strangest, most dazzling private moments of my life. On the south shore of Vieques, there's a bay, almost completely enclosed by land, where the mangroves are dense and tangled and the air is perfectly still. It's named Mosquito Bay, not for the insects, but for El Mosquito, the ship owned by Roberto Cofresi, one of the last actual pirates of the Caribbean, a heartless legend who claimed to have buried thousands of pieces of treasure before he died. After a letter in a newspaper misidentified a dead pirate as Cofresi, rumors began to proliferate about his mythological powers. He could make his boat disappear. He was born with a magic arrangement of blood vessels that made him immortal. A folk rumor persists that he appears every 7 years for 7 days, completely engulfed in flames. There are only 5 bioluminescent bays in the world, and of these, Mosquito Bay is the brightest. Each liter of its water contains hundreds of thousands of Pyrodinium bahamensi, the microscopic dinoflagellates that produce an otherworldly blue-green light when they're agitated. On a night without moonlight, a boat going through these waters burns a trail of iridescence. Here, the dinoflagellates have the safe and private harbor they need. The decomposing mangroves provide a bounty of food for the delicate organisms. And the passage to the ocean is shallow and narrow, keeping the disturbance of waves away. And so the dinoflagellates glitter, not for themselves, not in isolation, but when outside intrusions come through. But the trouble is that intrusions disturb the bay's delicate balance. Mosquito Bay went dark for a year in 2014, probably because of tourist activity and excess of chemicals from sunscreen and shampoo. Today, tourists can still take a boat out as long as they forego bug repellent. But swimming has been prohibited since 2007, 2 years after we swam there while taping the show. We took the boat out on a black night in an anvil-heavy quiet. Behind the moving masses of clouds, the milky stars emerged and disappeared. We were all nervous, hushed, agitated. We had all come from families who, I think, wanted to give us adventures like this, but who probably wouldn't have been able to afford it. Thus, maybe the permission to go on the show. When the boat stopped in the middle of the bay, we trembled with joy. We slipped into the water and started sparkling, as if the stars had fallen and were clinging to us. In the middle of the absolute darkness, we were wreathed in magic, glowing like jellyfish, glittering like Britney Spears' Toxic video, swimming in circles, gasping and laughing in the middle of a spreading pale blue glow. We touched one another's shoulders and watched our fingers crackle with light. After a long time, we got back in the boat, still dripping in bioluminescence. I squeezed glittering water out of my hair. My body felt so stuffed with good luck that I was choking on it. I felt caught in a whirlpool of metaphysical accident. There were no cameras, and they couldn't have captured it anyway. I told myself, don't forget, don't forget. Thank you.
Thank you, Gia. And make sure you check out her book of essays, Trick Mirror. Better kiss those February doldrums goodbye with the return of Andrew Bird.
in tongues in the night. I wasn't having it. I could tell that something wasn't right. Why don't you come to bed instead of stumbling into the light of medicine cabinets, shaking up pills left and right. Right. Who's giving up the most? No one's gonna give you a medal. Who's giving up the ghost? Now wouldn't you want to know? The competition rate, this nocturnal dance, the misery is contagious, and we are Olympians. We're gonna turn it around. We're gonna turn it around. Yeah, we're gonna turn it around. Gonna turn it around. We're gonna turn it around. Oh, we're gonna turn it around. 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 We're gonna turn it around. Gonna turn. You start spitting out anathemas. You're spitting out anathemas. It was anathema. Spent half of my life on the exchange. Yeah, it was anathema. About half a mile between idle and deranged. Yeah, it was anathema. La, 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 la. It was anathema. La, 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 la. Who's giving up the most? Who's giving up the most? Who's giving up the most? You were speaking in tongues in the night. Oh, who's giving up the most? I could tell that something wasn't right. Oh, who's giving up the most? You were shaking out pills left and right. Oh, who's giving up the most? You were stumbling into the light. The competition rages. This nocturnal dance, the misery's contagious, and we are Olympians. We're gonna turn it around. We're gonna turn it around, yeah. We're gonna turn it around. Gonna turn it around. We're gonna turn it around. Gonna turn it around.
Andrew Bird. He will be back. But first, it's time for our Tune of the Unknown Songwriter, where we gather to celebrate music written by we know not whom. This one was suggested to us by a friend of the program, Miss Anais Mitchell. Here's Child Ballad number 13, Edward.
How came that blood on your shirt sleeve? Oh, dear love, tell me. Well, it is the blood of the old gray mare that plowed the field for me. fields for me. It does look too pale for the old gray mare that plowed the fields for thee, 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 that plowed the fields for thee. How came that blood on your shirt sleeve? Oh, dear love, tell me. Oh, it is the blood
of the old greyhound that chased the fox for me, me, me. That chased the fox for me.
It does look too pale for the old greyhound that chased the fox for thee, 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 that chased the fox for thee. How came that blood on your shirt sleeve? Oh, dear love, tell me.
Oh, it is the blood of my brother-in-law that went away with me, 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 that went away with me. You're listening to Live from Here. Sail across the sea, 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 and I'll sail across the sea.
And it's when will you be back, my love? Oh, dear love, tell me. When the moon sings yonder in the sycamore tree, and that will never be, be. And that will never be.
Welcome back to Live from Here. Here is Seriosity by the Chameleon. A song brought to us by the Secret Wizard this week.
1, 2, 3, 4.
someone's son. It goes on and on again, on and on again. Watch the ripples run. I used to be so sure, I used to be so certain. How could I be so wrong? Always needing more, and as the chains are breaking, watch me now, watch me run. Over fields and past the houses like a bullet from the gun. Watch the figure fade away. Hearts are breaking. Someone's daughter joins with someone's son. All alone again, all alone again. Watch the ripples run. Watch the rabbit run.
Seriosity. And one more time for Mr. Tom Papa.
So the theme of the show tonight is doubt, and I doubt you remember that, but we are filled with doubt. We are all filled with doubt. I think everyone's always feeling, especially nowadays, whether we're working enough or doing enough or good enough, and in response to that, I'd like to read you something from my upcoming book entitled You're Doing Great and Other Reasons to Stay Alive. It's called You Work Too Hard. They say that Americans are dumb and lazy, and although we don't actually hear people say it, we know damn well they're thinking it. While there are plenty of Nimrods in our country, for the most part, we are not lazy. From what I can see, we work harder than any people on the planet. Who works harder? Europeans? Please. I've seen them, sitting seaside, drinking wine and eating giant pastries filled with chocolate and fresh cream in the middle of a workday. They wander down their tiny cobblestone streets that have never been repaired, go inside their open-air apartments, lie down, and sleep the rest of the day. Maybe they wake up around 5, have an espresso under a shade tree with their friends, smoke cigarettes until they slowly wake up. By the time they're ready to go, the workday is over, and it's time for a cocktail, dinner, and a quick ride on their Vespa to make love to their girlfriend before they come home to have dinner with their family. Not us. We don't have time for romance on scooters with exotic caffeinated lovers. We can't sit around and eat omelets and wait for the butter to melt on our baguettes. We're lucky if we get lunch at all. Can you imagine telling your boss that you're going to spend the most of the afternoon taking a nap and making love? She'd laugh, pat you on the back, and tell you to gather up your things. We have jobs to do, jobs that have to get done no matter how long it takes or how many late-night emails or phone calls we have to make. In America, you get it done or you get out. We wake up in the dark and work through the night. We do early morning hours, overnight hours, and overtime. We take 5 a.m. flights so we can make a meeting by 10, put in a full day, and fly back that night on nothing but pretzel bits. We take the bus, the train, and commuter jets that are held together with duct tape, flown by exhausted pilots and the oldest flight attendants working anywhere in the world. No wonder we're so tired. People are sleeping on the subway, standing up. People are nodding off in their cars and parking garages. Americans are so tired, they figured out how to sleep in the middle of meetings with their eyes wide open like horses with business degrees. It's no wonder that Starbucks became one of the biggest companies in the country. We need more fuel, and not one little espresso cup like they have in Italy. We need a bucket-sized cup that can squeeze 5 shots into, a bunch of sugar and some pumps of caramel on top, because we got stuff to do. Americans stay up late and wake up in the dark in a panic, and that's what the mornings are in this country. Pure panic. This is not when the body wanted to wake up. This is when it was forced to wake up, like a dog being tasered awake at a kennel. There's nothing more important than that shower. But this is a speed shower where you only have time to hit the important parts and keep going. This is an armpits-only nuclear reactor shower. They get longer showers in prison. This is hard work we're doing, important work that keeps everything going, and I'm in awe of all of you. Day after day, doing jobs that are so crucial to all of our lives. Everything we do throughout our day was touched in some way by another human being doing their job. Thank God for you all. We're picking almonds and avocados in California, shooting movies in Atlanta, selling insurance in Hartford. We raise children and bake bread and wait on tables and toss drunken people out of bars. These are jobs, really hard jobs. Right now, there's someone cleaning a toilet, carrying garbage, digging holes, pulling out asbestos. Someone is standing in a hot toll booth on the New Jersey Turnpike. Someone else is pulling weeds in a hot field, riding on the back of a garbage truck. We're painting, brushing, cleaning, hosing down, ripping apart, carrying and hauling every day, all night. So don't let anyone tell you that you aren't doing enough, that Americans are lazy, that you are lazy. Sure, we may not know all the artists in the museums and all the poets from the last century, but that's not because we're slacking off. It's because we're hard at work. Thank you.
Mr. Tom Papa. That's from Tom's new book, You're Doing Great and Other Reasons to Stay Alive, available now for pre-order. Oh, it seems like it's been forever. Welcome back, Bedouine.
With the conviction of the woman you made me, I find blades of grass from the island you lent me. I find on every floor in every drawer though I'm not an island, I'm a body of water. Jeweled in the evening, a solitary daughter. If picked at by noon, by midnight I'm ruined. Leave me alone to the books and the radio snow. Leave me alone to the tranquil and the dancing shadow. If each blade of grass was meant here for me, split apart, sliced and wedged in for me. Who's gonna treat it? I'm not gonna need it. Leave me alone to the books and the radio snow. Leave me alone to the tranquil and the dancing shadow. I am a lake, don't need to be watered. I am an ocean, I don't need to barter. I play with the moon, my only friend. It pushes, it pulls, I don't pay the rent. I don't need the walls to bury my grave. I don't need your company to feel saved. I don't need the sunlight, my curtains don't draw. I don't need the objects to keep put upon. I don't want your pity, concern, or your scorn. I'm calm by my lonesome, I feel right at home. And when the wind blows, I get to dancing. My fun is the rhythm of air when it's prancing. I play with the moon, my only friend. It pushes, it pulls me, I don't pay rent. I don't need the walls to bury my grave. I don't need your company to feel saved. I don't need the sunlight, my curtains don't draw. I don't need objects to keep hard upon. I don't want your pity, concern, or your scorn. I'm calm by my lonesome, I feel right at home. Leave me alone to the books and the radio snow. Leave me alone to the charcoal and the dancing shadow. One, two, three, four. Always looking for your next climb, the things I want don't take time. On my knee, honey, you'll get it one of these days. One of these days, our love ignites. We're gonna get it and get it right. One of these days. If I'm talking sweet to you, you know I'd like to hear it too. It's funny, I need to think it's a passing phase. But if I feel alone in the morning dew, I start to see new shades of blue. One of these days, you know I'm gonna set our hearts ablaze. If it's my last living day, if I feel our loving fade, you may as well turn the blade. It's running, honey, my mouth, I know for days. But I've been singing the same old song, and I ain't doing nothing wrong. One of these days, you know I'm gonna set our hearts ablaze. If it's the last thing I do. One of these days, you know I'm gonna set our hearts ablaze. If it's the last thing I do, if it's true that I feel more for you than you do for me, it's stunning, honey, how love has some delays. 'Cause one of these days our love takes flight. We're gonna get it and get it right. One of these days.
One more time for Bedouine. accompanied there by Gus Seifert. Beautiful, beautiful music. Both of you, thank you so much for being here. Come on, one more time for Andrew Bird.
Well, Chris, I was thinking that all this doubt has us in need of some unbridled optimism, so we're going to do this Irving Berlin tune, Blue Skies.
Sky smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing a song, nothing but bluebirds from now on. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by when you're in love, my, how they fly, oh, blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on. Skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing a song, nothing but bluebirds now all day long. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by when you're in love, my, how they fly, all blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on.
One more time, Andrew Bird. You never know where a ray of sunshine is going to come from. Thank you so much, Andrew. Which brings us to the end of our show. Thank you so much for being here with us this evening. For my wife, Claire. Yesterday, my life was in ruin. Now today, I know what I'm doing. got a feeling I should be doing alright. Doing alright. Where will I be this time tomorrow? Jump for joy and singing in sorrow. Anywhere I should be doing alright. Doing alright.
Should be waiting for the sun, looking round to find the words to say. Should be waiting for the skies to clear. There were time in all the
I should be waiting for the sun. And anywhere I've got to hide Yesterday, my life was in ruin. Now today, I know what I'm doing. I got a feeling I should be doing alright. Doing alright. That's our show from the Town Hall in New York City. Live from here is supported by Noom, a personalized weight loss program based in psychology for helping people change their habits and conquer their goals. Learn more at noom.com.
Live from here is produced by American Public Media. Thank you to our special guests, Andrew Bird, Gia Tolentino, Sarah Jarosz, Tom Papa, and Bedouine. Thanks to our house band and our musical director, Mike Elizondo. Thanks to the staff of Live from Here, Stevie Beck, Rochelle, Rocky, Ben, Lulu Dubin, Mark Braverman, Tom Campbell, Jonathan Cohen, Vixen Collins, Jason Colton, Paul Dalen, Lynn Elliott, Hugh Freeland, Anthony Gathers, Dave Harris, Carly Henry, Jeffy Nilliga, Sam Hudson, Janice Kaiser, Martha Cato, Emily McHugh, Jens McCoy, Dominic Meckie, Ben Miller, Emerald O'Brien, Amber Robinson, Frankie Rizzo, Bucky Runzer, Noah Smith, Austin Thompson, Sarah Weiss, Lily Wett, Adam Sepp, and I'm Bodine Bowling. Thanks to the staff at Town Hall. Check out video clips from tonight's show and learn about what's coming up at livefromhere.org.
The night is young, y'all. Let's go forth and keep listening. Go forth, Armand. Doing alright. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. That's our show from the Town Hall in New York City.
American Public Media.